All righty. Okie dokie, Smokey. So Dave is getting his mountain cabin ready, and I'm excited because I got my season pass to Brian Head, the ski resort, and I'm going to go stay with Dave and ski Brian Head. It's going to be awesome. They sold me a season pass for $240. So that's just fantastic, man. So I'm going to do the training today, and Dave suggested that I talk a little bit more about Eric Worre, and I thought that's a superb idea. So let me screen share, and we will rock and roll with Eric Worre. Can you guys see that all right? That look okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And is that Willy? All right. Good job.
Present, sir. Present.
Good. All right. I asked Willy to join us because he has a PhD in Eric Worre. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. I wanted to start off again with Carrie's slide, talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. She said 85 to 90% of the results you're going to have in your life relate to your subconscious mind. So you really have to get in the mindset for this. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about techniques, but I'm going to talk from the point of view of having the right mindset first, because I can't do any of this unless I've done my hour of power and gotten my mind correct. And if I've fallen out of the correct mindset, I've got to do the self-care to get my mind back. And, you know, Willy talked about going for a walk or playing with the kids or playing with the dog or something to get your mind back into the game, okay? Because your head's got to be in the game. So you know, that's a huge part of this. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about the actions that I take once I'm in the right mindset. And of course, I've been using the Penny app. That's been fantastic. And but we're going to talk a little bit also about the contacts that you already have in your phone and the warm market that you've already got. And so this training we're doing assumes you've done your brain dump on a list and that you've got some way of keeping notes. I'm going to talk about how I keep notes, okay? Because I've got a number of systems, but the one system I came across that I've really been having success with. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, we'll start by talking about the hour of power, because the most important person to recruit every morning is yourself. And you might have to recruit yourself several times during the day. If I get a couple of days ago, I had a really hard no, you know, kind of a two-person no, right? And it kind of got to me. The rejection sort of threw me back there, you know, and of course, when you get these big no's, you know, that hurt a little bit, you can be convinced that something really good is coming down the pike, and that's in fact what happened. I've got a new consultant right after that, you know, so awesome things happened after that one no. So you do want to go for no, okay? And so, but you might have to recruit yourself a few times during the day. And in that particular instance, I had to sit down and read Kathy Coover's book, you know, Resilient, and think deeply about what resilience looks like for Malcolm, okay? Because I know what it looks like for Kathy, and I needed some inspiration and you know, to get back in the game. Okay, and of course, Wallace Wattles says, you know, focus your mind, give your first and best thought to the work of acquiring wealth. Okay. And intelligent substance will make things for you, but it will not take things away from somebody else. So we're not in a competitive mindset. Okay. We're in a creative mindset. We're connecting with people to create a better outcome for them, not to take anything away from them, not to get their credit card and get their money. And once they're out, once you got their money, they're out of your mind. You're collaborating with them to create a better scenario for them, either health or wealth or personal development. And I just love this, the way Wallace Wattles describes our business. We're agents of the multitude who will organize the machinery of distribution. Okay. And the moment you drop into the competitive mind, your power to cause creation is gone for the time being. Okay. So you're not gonna be able to create something with people if you're focused on their credit card. And what is worse, you will probably arrest the creative movements you've already instituted. So you're going to take a back step if you get into the competitive thing. Okay. And I know you guys have some goals, and those are the achievements you've set for the future. You know, I'm focused on platinum, getting a re-entry, and that's the natural endpoint. But my intention, those are attitudes for the present. Those are the attitudes I have ongoing all day long today. They're guiding my thoughts and actions in each moment, from moment to moment. Okay. And very, very important. And we talked a little bit about recruiting and how to use Facebook. But what I want to do is talk about where Eric Worre is. I'm going to show you two places where the ultimate memory jogger is. The first place is foreverpack.com. And what you do is you log in using, the user is foreverpack, the password is one team. You log in and you scroll to the bottom right, okay? And that's where you find the foreverpack or the ultimate memory jogger in the foreverpack.com website in the back office, okay? And so here's what it looks like. And you're looking for the ultimate memory jogger in the very bottom of the page on the right, okay? And this is Eric Worre's document, and it is totally amazing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm gonna go to my I'm going to go to this here. Okay, so here's the page we've got. Can you guys see that okay? And that website, and let me just expand this a little bit. I'll cover up my contact manager I've been using. Okay, so here is the backside of the foreverpack.com, okay? And the great training we've got and all the phenomenal videos, but the very bottom, here's Eric Worre's ultimate memory jogger, okay? And this is what Dave suggested I cover. Now, I've been telling people this is 72 pages, you know, and a lot of people, oh my God, 72-page reading assignment. It's like they're in school, you know, they get all freaked out, but most of it is lists, okay? There's only a little bit of written stuff. It's the Coles Notes of Eric Worre. It's compressed into a fairly short version of this, okay? And basically, I recommend you go through this very, very carefully, okay? Here's the wherefore and why of the ultimate memory jogger. And basically, it goes through a bunch of steps that Eric Worre has laid out. Now, the approach that Eric Worre is taking is a business approach, okay? And I want you to be aware of that. And that's a little bit different from the approach Dave takes, because Dave had, as I had a phenomenal health change, a health transformation, okay? And not every company that Eric Worre supports is about health transformations, right? So he's not really going to be able to base his system on health transformation. He's going to have to base his system on business transformations, right? And so as you look through this, you will notice that, you know, that that's his focus, okay? But there are similarities between what Eric Worre does and what Dave does. And I want to make sure that you know about those, because I used Eric Worre and do use Eric Worre and will use Eric Worre today to get people on the call tonight at 5:30 Pacific time. Okay, we're doing a Zoom, the same channel, 5:30 Pacific time. And if you'd like to have a guest, because I don't know about you, Willie, but I prefer to have a guest on the Dave calls. You know, when I have a guest, I begin seeing and hearing Dave in a whole different light. Have you noticed that? You know, because you're visualizing what they're experiencing, right? And the transformation that it's made for you, and it's going to make it for them, right? And so I strongly recommend a bunch of guests. We did a Tuesday night meeting, and I actually had 4 guests on that, and it was phenomenal, you know. And I'm listening to John with rapt attention because I've got 4 guests, and I'm thinking, oh, how are they going to see this? Oh, this is so exciting. So I recommend that. So Eric goes through these steps and explains the wherefore and why and how everything works. I'm not going to go through that in too much detail. I'm gonna, and then of course he has lists and lists and lists of people you might know, so that it will trigger in you it'll trigger in you who you know that is a shoe repair person who fixes your shoes, or who's a singer, skater, skier, skin consultant, right? And maybe officer, musician, music teacher. It's to jog your memory, because you've, in your head, whether you realize it or not, you've got well over 500 people in your head right now, okay? Now, your phone makes it easy because you've got a whole slew of people in your phone. I have thousands and thousands of people in my phone, okay? So I've got a huge list, but this kind of helps you start with this. If you're new in the business, this is a godsend. If you start writing down names, if you get to 100 names, your business will take on a life of its own. Okay, I promise you that. And you will never make it through all 100 names, because as you start going through the names, other names appear, and you can never get to the first 100 because other names appear. That just happens. Okay, so these are all the different countries and places. And then Eric categorizes people into different lists. Okay, and if you like to do that kind of stuff, this is fantastic. There's a master candidate list, and then he categorizes people into he takes the master candidate list and then puts it into different categories. And of course, he's got lead with the product candidate list, and that's what Dave does, is he leads with the product. So if you know someone, it's a diabetic, right? Then obviously that frames your conversation around that, okay? And so that would be a lead with a candidate, the product candidate list, and that's kind of what Dave does, and that's what I do. Because I had an amazing health transformation. So I naturally gravitate towards the product thing, because I want to make sure that I'm getting people healthy while I'm looking for my superstar business people. So I actually focus on that, okay? And but there's other categories: best opportunity candidate and direct approach, and and he goes through all this. And then he goes into the steps, here are the steps. And of course, step 1 is be in a hurry, okay? Because people are going at Mach 3 with their hair on fire, usually, okay? A lot of people, you're looking for busy people, okay? It's better to assume that they're busy and approach it from that perspective, because busy people get a lot done, and they'll fit this in once they get inspired. Okay. And they'll work fast. So it's better to assume that they're busy. If they're not busy, there's a reason for that. Okay. And so I don't have a lot of time to talk. It's really important to reach you. I've got a million things going on. I'm glad I caught you running out the door. I need to talk to you real quick. These are brilliant. Okay. And if you meet somebody, if you get in a conversation with somebody at the post office or the grocery store, now isn't the time to get into this. I have to go, but, and let me text you. And of course, when Dave and I are skiing at Bryan Head, I'm going to teach him how to do this during a 4-minute chairlift ride. Okay. Because I've got customers that I recruit off of the chairlift. So I've only got 4 minutes. And so you really have to be in a hurry. You really have to be on your game to go from cold, on a ski lift, you're cold, of course, but from a cold contact to get a text number in 4 minutes is the epitome of this. Okay. And then step 2 is compliment. And I would say this is the greatest gift Eric Worre gave me, was learning how to be intentional and how to write out compliments, okay? Because I come from a family that didn't compliment each other. They just didn't do it. Now, John Mayer has a different childhood experience. So John Mayer compliments naturally. He just does it. He does it automatically, okay? I did not grow up doing that, okay? So I had to learn how to compliment. And when he says this is critical, the sincere compliment, and it's got to be sincere, it can't be a phony one. You got to really think deeply about, okay, what do I love about this person? What's really special about them? Okay? And Dave has a compliment in his system, where he compliments somebody's, that's a great brooch, or those are nice shoes, right? And that's neat. But if you can go deeper than that and say, Willie, what I love about you is you've made this transformation, this personal transformation, and this incredible dynamic guy, it's just fantastic. You're so inspiring, and what do you love about a person? Okay. And really think deeply about that. You've been wildly successful. I've always respected the way you've done business. I used that compliment and much deeper than that with a guy that, I had on the phone yesterday that went to the very top of Amway. I mean, he set records with Amway, and that's not easy to do. That's a hard marketing plan. Okay. And so I spent quite a bit of time detailing exactly what I really admire about him. Okay. You've got an amazing mind for business and can see other things people don't see. One of the sharpest people I know. You've always been powered with that is genetic. So that compliment is incredibly important, especially if you're dealing with somebody who is a true mover and shaker. Okay. I mean, if you want to recruit Donald Trump, you better compliment first, okay? Or Nancy Pelosi. You better express how important they are because they think they're important, okay? And so step 3 is I make the invitation, and so we'll talk a little bit about Eric Worre makes business invitations. Dave makes health invitations, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about that. And then of course, these are all the different invitations. I mean, this is literally a gold mine. This is free on the internet. I mean, it's incredible. And by the way, somebody thought that this would help Dr. Bill Andrews. So somebody gave Bill Eric Worre's complete CD series. And Bill found it in his laboratory and gave it to John because he sees John in the parking lot, you know. So and then of course the greatest question in network marketing is, if I would you, okay? Yeah, so if I gave you a DVD that let out all information professional, would you watch it? If I sent you an online presentation that explained everything, would you click on it, watch? And you've done the first 3 steps properly, the answer is going to be yes. It's very difficult if you've complimented them and created this bond of love. It's difficult for them to say no, okay? And of course, when you've done a health questionnaire and asked them if there were 5 things about your health that you could change, what would be at the top of the list? Once you've unpacked that with them, it's hard for them to say no. I'm not going to watch that. They become emotionally invested, and we'll show you how to deepen that dramatically. Okay. And then of course the commitment. When are you going to do it? These are the steps that it took me a long time not to build on. When do you think you could watch it for sure? When do you think you could open the link for sure? All this other stuff, and get a time commitment from them, okay? And then confirm everything. Make sure they know how to open the link. With the links that I send from the ISA Business app, I have to remember to remind them, hey, there's going to be an icon that appears by my ear. I want you to click on that, okay? And that'll start, what is it, the Diane Sawyer video or the Forever Pack website. It'll take you to the Forever Pack website or whatever that is, okay? And so if I called you on July 2nd, you'll have watched it for sure, right? And getting that confirmation, because my inclination was say, oh my God, they said yes. I better not bug them anymore, or they might say no, okay? And that's not what Eric Worre is saying. He's saying you want to confirm this with them and walk them through. So if somebody, Tuesday night I had a couple of guests at the Healthy Aging Institute, and this in the era of COVID, getting people to go out the door and meet you is even more tricky than it was before. Okay, so what I do is I confirm things with them. I say, hey, did that? I sent you the Google link to our office. Did that open up okay? I texted that to them just to make sure. And they texted back, yeah, I've got it and I know where it is. No problem. I'll be there at, and I had them come at 5:30 so they could meet everybody. And then John started at 6. So very powerful. But you wanna confirm with them, do a good job, and then get a time and number to follow up. Okay. So if I call you, what's going to be your best number? I'm going to call you on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the evening. What's the best number? Do you want me to call you on your home number, or you want me to call you on your cell? Well, most people got rid of their home number, but you just want to, or I ask them, do you have a landline? Is that better? Because some people put their cell phone in the charger and they can't hear it. So, and the only phone that's ringing in their place is the landline. Okay. So you want to confirm that. And then step 8 is to get off the phone, stop talking, get out there and do it again. Okay. So great. We'll talk then, got to run. And of course, these are the examples that are there. And of course, this is the worksheet. Now, this worksheet, what I recommend to you is that you print this out. I can't tell you how many people I've had who had a chicken list of people they were afraid to call. And what I did was I had them write out what they're going to do. And I've had people, I've actually sat down with them and said, okay, we're going to call your chicken list. And they get all apprehensive and nervous and they're worried about calling their chicken list. And then what happens is they get them on the phone and they get a little bit flustered, right? Because they've got, this is their chicken list, and might be a superstar business owner of the bank or the dealership or whatever, and they're just intimidated. But if they can get their way through the compliment And I've actually had people get flustered, and I see their eyes go down to their list, and they start reading what they wrote, and suddenly everything comes together. It's just like magic, okay? Because the people on your chicken list, the big personalities, the big people with big egos, are the easiest people to recruit if you know what you're doing. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in this call, okay? So I do recommend that you print out the Network Marketing Pro invitation worksheet. And if somebody wants to work with me on a part of their chicken list and maybe get me on the phone, I'll have them text me a picture of their invitation worksheet if we're doing a three-way call, because I want to know what they love about them. The reason it was so easy to recruit Willy is because Frank and Delvey talked about Willy like he was this astounding networker, just incredible guy that had huge success and has made big money and changed a lot of lives and just this wonderful guy. And of course, Frank and John and Delvey and I were all going, oh, boy. And Dave were all talking Willy, 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 Willy. And of course, when we meet him, obviously we already love him, right? And so I want to hear that. I want to see that compliment, because then I start to get excited, and that excitement transmits. It's like you're telling your subconscious mind, okay, we got a phenomenal person. Man, it'd be so great to be working with this person. Oh, wow. And the subconscious just takes over and starts to help you say exactly the right things and do exactly the right things. And it all just comes together when there's love involved, when there's, that just makes the world go around, okay? All righty, so let me see if I can play this. All right, did that switch? I think it did, okay. So, so this is the Eric Worre Ultimate Memory Jogger. So here's Dave's sheet, the 7 steps, okay? And basically, what you can see is Dave is doing a lot of what Eric Worre is doing, okay? So the compliment, Dave starts with the compliment at the top, because when he started his business, he was meeting people face-to-face. Obviously, we're not doing that now. So we're meeting them through Facebook, and hopefully we connect with them over the phone so we can have a conversation. And so the compliment is a little bit different, and the ones Eric Worre writes out are fantastic, but the ones that you do with people personally are far and away your best vehicle, okay? And then of course what Dave does in his health thing. So the invitation he's got based on his approaches with health, okay? And so Dave says, if there are 1 or 2 things you could improve about your health, what would be at the top of the list? Now, I prefer 5. And I prefer to say, if there were 5 things that you can improve, because I've found that it's like a bottle of ketchup. When you start talking to somebody about their health, nothing comes out. Okay. I mean, I'm doing a call, a second call with the guy that introduced me to the Amway guy. And I think the Amway guy is going to be on there too. His company is closing up in November. So his last check is the end of November. Okay. So he's got to get something else going. And both of them do. Okay. And so when I asked this guy, well, if there were 5 things that you'd like to see improve about your health, what would be the top of your list? And he said, weight. He said, I got this big belly. And the lady that referred him to me confirmed. She said, yeah, he's got a big belly. He's easily 25, probably more like 40 pounds he needs to release, okay? So that belly, probably he's a little bit ashamed about that and doesn't want to deal with it, right? So he's not thinking about it. That's the way I was. I had a big belly when I met Dave, and I just wasn't thinking about it. You know, I didn't know what the heck to do about it. I've been trying to do stuff and it wasn't working, and you know, I was doing 2 shakes a day, okay, but they were the wrong shakes. They didn't have enough protein in them, and way too much sugar, and they were just the wrong shakes, okay. But I didn't want to admit that I made the wrong choice, and I wasn't admitting that to myself. So I was kind of, you know, I couldn't really. So if somebody had asked me, well, I wouldn't mind getting rid of this belly, but I didn't have any other health problems. Well, this guy probably does have some health problems. He's just not connecting with them. And when I met Dave, I wasn't connecting with the fact that I had a knee that was scaring the crap out of me because it would ache and ache and ache at about noon on a ski day. But I put that out of my mind. You know, I wasn't thinking about it. And so I asked for 5 because it's like a bottle of ketchup. You shake and shake and shake, and you want to get all 5, because the 5th or 6th one comes out, oh, you know, and well, actually, I did have cancer, you know, 2 years ago. That's like number 5 after they told you they're worried about their hemorrhoids, but they're not worried about their cancer, right? You know, so I like 5, and I'm going to show you the form I use for that, okay? And basically what I've done is I've integrated what Dave does into the system I was already using with Eric Worre, okay? And so once I get them talking about what's going on with their health and what's happening and when are you the most tired and all this other stuff, then I transition to a form that I use that is posted on buildwithhealth.com. So what you do is when you buildwithhealth.com, you're going to get into John's Google Docs page, and they've got all kinds of he's got all kinds of really cool stuff here. But what you're looking for is in the tools section. So you click on the tools section, okay? And I want to mention one of the guys I recruited last night, put him in the computer last night. He was a referral, so I'm doing this for another person. I'm making it happen for my bookkeeper, okay? And this guy was a Hispanic guy, okay? And I want to make sure I emphasize with you guys, this is very, very important. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is our secret personal weapon to outperform China in the current competition we have for you know, manufacturing and everything? And according to the Wall Street Journal, America's secret weapon is a huge growth in younger people in the Hispanic community, okay? And they're saying that's America's secret weapon, is that our population aging is affected by Hispanics that are having children, okay? And of course, those are going to be the workers, you know, 20 years from now, okay? And of course, of course, I was talking to this guy, and I went through his health history, and of course, he's got a bunch of stuff going on, and of course, with the current pandemic, I shared this with Willy, but you know, in this chart, basically, this is a chart of COVID-19 deaths, and of course, in the bottom of the chart are white guys like me, and they need to start worrying when they turn 65, and really start to need worrying when they're 75 to 85, right? If they get COVID. But Hispanics need to worry when they're in their 40s and 50s, okay? This is a much bigger problem And I think part of that relates to eating habits. And, you know, when I interviewed this Hispanic guy, you know, he said, I have got to start eating healthy, Malcolm. That the doctor keeps telling me that, but I don't know what that looks like. I really need to pull out all the stops and start eating healthy. And he recognizes that. Okay. And that is a phenomenal market. And obviously Willy is and Digna are the embodiment of that. I mean, they're just tearing it up in the Hispanic market, you know, and that's an incredible market, guys. Don't overlook that. Okay. So anyway, what I do is in the Build with Health website, what you'll see when you click on the tools section is the Forever Pack enrollment retention form. Okay, you'll also see Dave's Forever Pack flowchart, and you'll also see the Ultimate Memory Joggers posted there as well. Okay, so that's actually a one-stop place if you want to pull things off there. And hang on just a second, Dave's texting me. Let's see. All right, open.
Hey, Malcolm, I'm on. Hey, good morning,
fantastic.
You guys.
All right, good job.
Yeah, I just had signal.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, I just caught what you were just saying there, just the last, minute and a half.
Awesome.
So there's some things I want to share, but I'll just let you finish what your thoughts are and find an interlude where you're, at a point where you can allow that. So just continue on.
Okay. Let me finish this last slide, and then I'll have you come on and talk about this. So basically, what I did with the guy last night when I did a little mini presentation for him, he was very interested. I was getting buying signals, and as soon as I get buying signals, I pull out the Forever Pack Enrollment Retention Health Questionnaire. And of course, I ask them if there were 5 things you could improve about the quality of your health, your loved one's health, what would be at the top of your list? And of course, I keep these in a 3-ring binder alphabetically. And here's the guy right here, okay? And there's the form. And you have to have a way of keeping track of this stuff, because this is the topic of conversation that is a gold mine. Okay, and he talked about his medications, blood pressure, weight. He needed to lose 40 pounds. He needs to change his lifestyle. And then, of course, when I asked him, who else is in your life do these positive changes affect? That's a little bit farther down the form there. You can see that right above the arrow. And of course, he said, well, my mom, for starters, and I've got a 6-year-old, and I want to be able to play with my 6-year-old and be around for him, right? And mom, and then he started talking about his mother's health, okay? And he got her on a call with me, and then he got a friend on a call with me, and of course, I did the same form with the friend, and the same thing. Friend's got the same kind of problems, okay? Cardiovascular problems. And of course, all these guys had symptoms and got some warning, okay, which is a godsend, because a lot of people that have cardiovascular problems don't get any warning. It's just, I have a heart attack and I'm dead on the floor, right? That's the symptom. So this is not a game for us. And so I keep track of that. And then, of course, this form walks people through what their new healthy future is going to look like, okay? So it addresses the lifestyle rewards that, this is a program for life. You're going to want to do this the rest of your life. This isn't one of those deals where you try this and then you try that and then you try this and you try that. And sometimes when I get to people, they've tried 50 things, okay? This isn't one of those 50 things. This is life altering, okay? This works whether or not you feel it. Remember JoJo's story with her mother? Her mother didn't notice anything for 4 months, okay? So we want to give people the impression this is something you do for the rest of your life, So we put you on the lifestyle rewards because it keeps coming, right? And then finding their why. And of course, fortunately, early in the game, I got to this guy's why. The why that would make him cry is he's got a 6-year-old. That was Dave's why. You know, he's got a family. That played a huge part. And if you get to that zone fairly quickly with people, where they're talking about their why, then you're really setting the stage for them not only starting this program but staying with it. And you've got notes on what's motivating them, okay? So that when I talk to this guy months from now, I can ask him, hey, how's your son doing? You know, is he still in soccer? You know, and because that's his why, okay? And how's your mom doing? You know, how's her blood panel look, right? And once you get into those kinds of conversations, then you've got a relationship for life, and you're in the process of developing a raving fan customer. Okay, Dave, I've been talking for a while. I think it's time for you to talk.
Well, thanks, Malcolm. I so appreciate it, and the leadership and all that you have to offer, and the incredible asset that you are. You know, you've been doing this for a long time. I remember Hillary Courtney saying to her in a training to associates that were in a previous company that she was with that didn't treat her right. It was one of those horror stories. But she said every time the girls did what I asked them to do, they came back and said they made money that week. They had success. They changed people's lives. And the people that didn't do what she said, because she had asked them, well, did you do what I said? And then him and Ha give excuses and justification, but they always complained. They were, you know, disappointed and didn't have the success. And one of the things that I love about this industry is that truth is self-existent. We don't make truth, we discover it. And through your trial and error, I heard somebody say the other day in a talk that their successes have come through their failures and making the adjustments and becoming wiser and more knowledgeable. And you just have so much to offer in the way of what produces success in Isogenics. And if people will just do what you say, there'll be those that, like Hillary Courtney said, they come back and they've had the success. And it's just, you know, being ready, able, and willing. Bob Proctor says the willing part is not just ready, but willing. That's such, you know, that's the important part. That's the essential ingredient that, you know, really adds the spice and the flavors and the, you know, the fulfilling experience is in the willing to do. So many people are ready, but being willing to do what's needful and essential, that's a whole different story. So, but we're not here to judge anybody. We're just here to teach and help people understand and come to an awareness of these principles that we've discovered. You know, I didn't catch, you know, what you talked about this morning because I've been out of signal. I even lost it for a second there, but just that I did the memory jogger. I totally did. I exhausted everybody I knew, which wasn't a huge warm market. That's why I immediately had to go to the cold market and really just make myself vulnerable. But I wanted it bad enough, you know, and the topic that I love, and they asked me to speak at Celebration, you know, in front of 14,000 people, plus the people that were live streaming in, was the why. You know, the motivations that give you the desire and the will to want to do it. Maybe not always joyfully, but a majority of the time joyfully, because you know what's at the end of that struggle, getting out of the box and making yourself vulnerable and uncomfortable. I love that topic, you know, the motivators. And one of the things that I was listening to a talk this morning, and just, it was talking about truth and how it's self-existent and that we can discover truth. We can't make truth. We can't alter truth. We can only discover it. And then we have to decide whether or not we will put ourselves in harmony with it. Every time we do, we get the successes and we reach the goals that we've set for ourselves. And it's because they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Now you can go sideways, like we had talked about before, where people who are having success today, went sideways in their lives and, started breaking some principles. So the memory jogger is so essential. Talking to the people on the memory jogger, it's not just doing the memory jogger, it's calling those people. And then also improving your skills and the way you present the information is so critical. And my motivator, which has always been my motivator, but it's expanded. I'll say that, my why and the motivations in the beginning are there. Some of the elements of that are still with me today. And some of them that I've reached are, gone. I've reached them and I've accomplished them and I've enjoyed them, and they've made my life more fulfilling. And but I've gone past those now. But some of the elements of wanting to make a difference in the world, that's still with me. Big part of my motivator. But it's expanded. And the cool thing about that is, as you reach your goals and you say, what's next? If that worked, I wonder what I'm really capable of. I wonder what the unfulfilled possibilities are within me. Maybe I'll set another goal that's even bigger. And I just kept doing that. And the cool part of that lies within the principles is that as you expand your why, your goals, so do you as an individual. You expand. You can't have one without the other. You set bigger goals, you're going to become a bigger person in, what's exacted of you. And I love that principle. And right now, more than ever, we have the opportunity to be that light on a hill that draws other people to it. The sense of urgency, the dynamics, the challenges that are before people, the environment, all of that what it's presenting for people is a lot of darkness, a lot of the emotional guidance system that isn't favorable. They're experiencing emotions that, why do we have to deal with this? Why? And so we can be the solution and that light on the hill in a world that seemingly seems to become darker and darker. That's only because the voice is getting louder and louder, and of these challenges. But for those that are built on a solid foundation, when the winds blow, the rains fall, the lightning and the thunder's going off, they're built on a solid foundation. Their step is sure. And that's what we have. We have a solid foundation because it's so principally based. Health, wealth, contribution, purpose, something to fill up the time of the day in being involved with. It's huge. And it brings so much gratification on a lasting level. And so there is practical application to that. There's business principles. There's relationship principles. There's educating principles. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel on any of that. We've discovered it. And if you're new, it's just been tossed into your lap. Although it's not really been tossed, you deserved it. And you've desired it. And here it is, it's in your lap. But just know this, that we are the light on the hill. And as far as I guess there's probably a better way of saying it than as far as I'm concerned. But in my observation, in my practical application, in my observing the results and the impact that it has on another human's life, we're leading the way with that light on the hill. Set aside from our personal faith and our relationship with God and our family and our spouses, we are leading the way as a light on the hill that is giving people life and giving it more abundantly, giving them that solid foundation. But we've got to learn and practice and develop these skills that, some of which Malcolm has talked about this morning. The skill of identifying and sharing and then following up and standing strong and bold and firm in that. As we do that, I believe we're transforming people's lives like it did my own, like it did my family's, like it did JoJo's, like it did Malcolm's and Willie's and his family and Crystal and so many people, Dr. Dunsky, Lisa and Josh Dunsky, so many lives that have been transformed, Cindy Talley. And I love what Willie teaches and Digna, a blessing, not a blessing until you really pass it on and help other people to enjoy that blessing. And so there are skill sets behind that. But the why is my biggest, that's my topic, that's my soapbox, and learning how to tap into that and to be motivated consistently and be on fire every day, showing up on fire every day. Everything you do is really evolving around that being set on fire for life, for purpose, for abundance, for contribution, for, all of these great principles that are self-existing. They're divine principles. And I will say and share and pass on, some words that I heard this morning. God does have a plan. This is not random. And this is not, well, let's just see what I can do at this time and I'll bide my time and, try to be a good person because that's the right thing to do. God has a plan. And I believe that Isogenics is absolutely a part of that divine plan at this time and this moment. Why? To give people more peace, give them more abundance, give them more joy, more happiness. That's why we're here, is to experience that. And when we get in alignment with these principles, that's what we experience. It's called self-actualization in some realms, personal development. But it has to do, we didn't make up personal development and self-actualization. It's part of God's divine plan, and people have tapped in to that divine truth. Each one of us has something to offer. Each one of us has unfulfilled, untapped potential. I was watching a movie last night. I felt inspired to watch this movie, and I'm glad I did, because it showed both sides of being used and influenced for nefarious reasons, discovering and then giving into that because of ignorance, but then learning very quickly and identifying that, whoa, I've tapped into something and some potential and the influence that I could have, but I've been doing it in a way that wasn't serving other people, wasn't adding true value. And that's God's law, the law of compensation, and there's other names for it. So this individual, and the movie was The Circle. I don't know if you've seen The Circle, but I was inspired to watch it. And I think a lot of that's going on right now. A lot of people are being influenced, but it's not the light on the hill. It's the imitation. And that leads people in a way that, can actually restrict and add a ball and chain. But we can be that light on the hill. And this person discovered that and tapped into it. And her biggest fear, the lead role, it was actually the gal that was in Harry Potter, Harmony, I think is her name. She's one of the lead roles. Tom Hanks is one of them. And her biggest fear was not tapping unfulfilled potential, unfulfilled possibilities. And I could resonate with that. It's not a fear, it's an excitement that I get to tap into that and that I get to take advantage of the opportunities. And I would say right now, we have such an incredible opportunity for maximizing that potential and possibility that lies within us, but also simultaneously making such a big impact and leaving such a legacy for our lives that we've lived by touching other people's lives and adding that value. And so again, that's the why. That's the why I do what I do. How we do it, Malcolm talked about some of it, some very essential pieces of that. And they go hand in hand. And that involves work. It involves persistence. It involves disciplining our disappointments. But as soon as we get through all that mess, then we can deliver the message and every, as we get through the disaster, we start to master it. So the mess, we become
Why
the
didn't
messenger.
you get some when you went in there?
Somebody want to catch that person and
Bullshit, I
mute
did
them.
too. Paige is the one who left you with one little straw.
Thank you. Again, I just wanted, those are the things that were on my mind this morning and that I tapped into to remind me, to help me to tap into that fire that's always available. It's always available no matter where we're at, even in the midst of our disappointments and our challenges and our rejection, that fire is all available, always available, and tapping into it. I love this culture. I love this environment. I absolutely love each and every one of you, and you know, the desires that you have to want to be, do, and have more. That's a righteous desire, and we can help other people to, you know, accomplish the same or even more than ourselves. That's next level stuff. When people can come in, tap in, and accomplish even more. And I just want to know that I believe in myself, and I believe in each and every one of you. I believe in each and every one of you because I believe in myself and that infinite potential that can come to us. I shared an affirmation in the business group the other day in hopes that that would encourage and inspire and facilitate, you know, this desire to be, do, and have more. So with that, I will be on the Zoom tonight. I'm going to be ready to rock it. Invite your guest. And I promise to give everything that I've got in helping them to tap into their, you know, possibility and potential that's within them. And people are being attracted to the light. It's like the bugs being attracted to the light. People are being attracted, and the more we're out there, the more we prepare ourselves, the brighter our light becomes, and the more God can use us because we've been saved at this time. There's no coincidences in anything. There's no coincidence out of the millennia of a time that this planet's been in existence and been peopled. There is no coincidence as to why you and I are right here, right now, engaged in this conversation. And it's just one step at a time. Don't worry about the past. Look forward to the future. And we can do great things together. And we are doing great things together. We're doing magnificent and miraculous things together. And I so appreciate and value each one of you and this company, the vision, and what we can do. So with that, Malcolm, I'm going to leave it to you to close it out. And I'm going to jump off, but I'll see you guys on the Zoom tonight.
Okay, Dave, thank you. And I'll just I'll wrap this up, guys, with a call to action. Okay. So I wanted to share with you my plan for having guests for tonight at 5:30 Pacific time. And let me just share my screen here. Okay, so this is the Penny app. Obviously, I've got some stuff. Penny has some stuff laid out for me. I need to do on the bottom there. I need to do a check-in with one of my customers. A couple of customers are in their third week, which means that they're going to be seeing some results. And I've got a lady in her first week, Ismania, and I'm going to see if I can get her on the call tonight and update her education. I've got a box opening. Amanda should have gotten her box by now. I'm going to check that shipping. And then there's a few auto ship reminders. I'm just going to text those. But if I start getting in a conversation, that gives me an opportunity to promote the call tonight. And then I've got a bunch of calls, and then of course reach outs. And I've got it on Easy Does It but watch what happens if I change Easy Does It on Penny to Crank It Up. I think you can see let me click on Crank It Up and watch the reach outs. They jump up from 5 to 12. And then if I wanted to be like Digna and do freight train, it goes from 12, watch this, to, maybe it's catching up. Okay, I've got 23 follow-ups on freight train of people that I need to check in with. So a lot of stuff there, just depending on how intense I want my day to be. But you can see my calendar for Wednesday yesterday I had quite a number of things going on, and I still have some follow-up to do with that. And then, of course, I had 4 guests on the Tuesday call, and so I need to follow up with those guys. And then I've got another person to put in today to get my Hispanic guy to consultant, Roberto. So a lot of things cooking today, but everything I do is in the context of Dave's call tonight and or Dave's call Saturday and or our events Monday and Tuesday. So basically, I've got 4 events in mind. So if somebody says, "Oh man, I'm totally booked tonight," and I say, "Well, do you have your calendar handy?" And yeah, I've got it right here. Okay, how's Saturday morning look for you? Oh man, I got the kids baseball. Okay, I no way I could do Saturday morning. Well, how about Monday night? Yeah, I can do Monday night. What time? And of course, Dave's call is at 5:30. So that is that's my plan for this, and I'm going to finish up with Wallace Wattles. Dave, of course, touched on this. The impression of increase. The desire for increase is inherent in all nature. It is a fundamental impulse of the universe. All human activities are based on the desire for increase. People seeking more food, more clothes, better shelter, more luxury, more beauty, more knowledge, more pleasure, increase in something, more life, okay? So let that be an inspiration when you're reaching out today. And I'm gonna just ask if there are any questions before we wrap this up. We're 2 minutes over on the hour.
Hey, Malcolm, there's such great content in the very beginning on the comparison of Eric Worre and the list. And I mean, it's just really, really great. I see you recording it. It's not on any of the Facebook pages. Would you please post this when you can?
Yeah, I'll get that off.
And that'll be in the business section or university, or which one?
The business section, Forever Pack Business.
Thank you. I'll yield the floor. I just wanted to ask. I do appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Yes, Malcolm, this has been a wonderful, wonderful call, and thank you for your first part of it. It was, and I love Dave, but like he says, you know, everyone has something very significant to contribute, and you absolutely do. Thank you. It's Mary Jo,
Well,
by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, this is about systems, okay? You know, one of the programs I do is they have a slogan. They say personalities are, what's the saying? Gosh, all right, it slipped my mind. Something, well, basically systems over personalities is what we're talking about here. Yeah, a lot of people look at Willie, look at Malcolm, look at Dave, look at Kathy Coover, look at Digna, and they say, I can't be that person, right? But with systems, if you're following the system, I mean, let's face it, that's how McDonald's gets teenagers who have never cleaned anything in their lives to clean bathrooms in a professional manner. You know, they take a teenager who's never picked up a mop. You know, mom's doing that stuff, right? Never picked up a mop, and suddenly they're focused on making sure there's no pubic hairs on the toilets. Okay.
It's a great analogy.
You know, they never thought about that before. But McDonald's has a system for getting them to do that. And these are all systems. And if you do the system, it will work. And, you know, when Hillary Courtney said, every time the girls did what I said, they made money, right? So you can make money or you can make excuses, guys. You know, but this is a system. We will teach you how to clean toilets, okay?
You know what? You make an excellent point. By the way, great, great presentation this morning. But you're not joking about McDonald's, because I'm a McDonald's product. I was going back to between '83 all the way to like '87. I was at McDonald's, and on the first day there, they have videos to show you. I don't know how they do it today. I'm sure it's online today. But back in my day, they would put a VHS video in there, and that was your training. And if you didn't understand anything, they'd have you do it over and over again. So you're so right about systems and how we got tremendous stars in the team here, which we look at and we go, that's too high for me. I can't even, you know. So a system is an excellent tool, parameter to say, we got a system. You can learn that in your own way, you know. So thank you so much for that.
Malcolm, are you going to incorporate the cleaning of bathrooms at McDonald's in the training?
Well, they're a good example of systems, and Walmart has a system, and we have a system, and it's not all, you know, I don't wake up wanting to do all of this stuff. Okay. It crosses my mind. I don't want to call some of these people. Okay. I feel resistance, just like, a teenager doesn't want to clean toilets, but they want what they can do with the money. They're focused on, if I work at McDonald's for a year, I'm going to be able to buy my motorcycle, right? Or whatever that is. They've got the why in mind. Okay, so to get the motorcycle, I'll clean the toilets. Okay, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing today. Is to get to platinum. I'm gonna do the deal today. Period. And stay with it. Have the discipline.
Value for value.
Right. Value for value. Exactly. Yeah. and the beauty of this is I give them far more value than they give me money. Okay. That's the big deal. I had a friend in Baltimore that owned 5 McDonald's, and he started doing wellness, and he said, I need to get really good at wellness to compensate for all the burgers I sold people. Right. And because he saw so much value in wellness over burgers, and that's a Wallace Wattles concept. Give people far more in value than they give you in money, and that's what we're focusing on. That's why we're talking to people about diabetes and all this other stuff. Not making any claims, right? But we're finding out what's going on for them, and if they want to get off their medication, for a lousy $200 a month, if you can get off your medications, most people that have been sick would say that's a bargain. Okay, it's just, and that's what Dave's focused on. He's focused on giving way more value than the company pays him, and they pay him a lot, but he changes lives. He's changed my life. He saved my wife's life. Think about that. At our Christmas party, there were 5 people that thanked me for saving life. And Dave was part of that. That's the best Christmas present I've ever had, guys.
Hey, Malcolm, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for a great training. I loved reviewing, Eric Worre's steps. It was a great refresher, and I appreciate those very much. I remember Digna and I went our first time. We learned about Eric Worre, and somebody had said, "Hey, this guy, he's sharing some stuff, some free information, but don't watch it all the way to the end because he's gonna try to sell you something, And so, but we watch it all the way to the end. We want to know what's going on, and he was inviting people to a 90-day insanity boot camp, and then my friend that sent it, I was like, I said, Digna and I going to the insanity boot camp. He's like, seriously, you bought it? It was like $1,000 each person, and we had to uproot our changes, and we drove I don't know what it was, maybe 8 hours from New Jersey to Minnesota. You know, something about 8 hours, maybe a little longer, whatever. We just picked up, changed, just went. We saw so much value in what he was teaching. And at that time, you know, there might have been like 200 people in the room. It was very intimate. You know, it was an amazing experience. So like for 2 or 3 days or whatever it was, but that stuff got deeply entrenched. I mean, and we embraced it. We studied it. I practiced it. Like, you know, like, so one of the things that you said in the beginning that, you know, I agree is extremely significant, that the mechanics are a small part. Systems are good. Systems are necessary. You know, it provides duplication, you know, all of that stuff. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's what we're about, is duplication. And I'm totally, you know, 100% in agreement of that. You know, however, Tony Robbins will say, you know, 90% of success is psychology. 10% is mechanics. So system is one thing, but you also said, you know, every single morning we need to be recruiting ourselves. Every single morning we need to, you know, get ourselves going. And not every day. I mean, yet, you know, the past few days I've been working till midnight, right? And so in the morning, you know, I'm like, you know, I mean, and I work, you know, I mean, I'm working nonstop. I'm pushing, you know, these past couple of days I've been pushing really hard and making phone calls and pouring out energy. And yeah, like Malcolm said, some people are just going to be, you know, they're going to push you back and they're going to say some sarcastic or whatever. You know, and you just got to kind of brush that stuff off and take a break, take a breather, and come back and pour out energy. But what I really loved and what I saw the value today was with this form. And I printed it out immediately while you were talking about it, because it's something that I haven't implemented into our business yet, but I saw the immediate value of, regardless if somebody's going to be a customer or an associate, but we're helping them get a grip of why they really want to get healthier. And people need to know the why. They need to know the why. We're not just trying to sell them anything. We're not just trying to, hey, get them to, you know, use the products for it. We want to help them get focused on what their lives can be like. And when they see that and they get a hold of that, you know, and they see that we care, we took so much time to care, that starts to build, you know, solidify, you know, all the efforts that we're making. So I printed it out right away, you know, to start implementing that, because I understand it's going to help, you know, for longevity purposes and really help people get a better grip of what we're actually doing. And then in closing, I know Malcolm will appreciate this for tonight, because it's always about, you know, what are we going to do? Now, what are we going to do? I think now more than ever, and I'm grateful Dave jumped in. You know, Malcolm you did an amazing job with the training. I loved it, you know, and then Dave came in and put a different twist on it, which was inspiring, right? Because that's what it's all about. And so now what? You know, I truly believe that our circumstances as a society are, well, it's obvious for anybody that's paying half attention, is that, you know, it's consistently changing day in and day out. You know, nobody could keep up with all these moving pieces that are happening, right? So I don't take for granted that anybody is in a good place. We have a health crisis. So that's number one. So we can lead with the health. Dave, anybody that gets invited by me, I'm inviting you to a private invitation-only Zoom by the world's top educator on telomeres. Do you know anything about telomeres? No. Experts are saying it is the key ingredient to health and wellness of our time right now. You know, I mean, you know, topic that, oh, really? Yeah. And this guy has been mentored by a top geneticist on the topic. And there's a Nobel Prize associated with this information. If I give you access to this private invitation only Zoom, would you adjust your schedule for tonight? Would you adjust your schedule tonight to gather this information for you and your loved ones? I mean, I kind of put them in a spot, Malcolm, where it's like, if you say no, you know, I don't, you know, you're a prick. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like that's you got to kind of put, why do I do that? Because I want to get them in front of the information. And yeah, I want them to feel like they'd be missing out not only for themselves, but also the people they care about. And then Malcolm, I want to add too, you were saying, okay, so fine, maybe tonight they wouldn't be willing to adjust. Oh, I got something. Okay, great. So what would be easier? This is what I said. Which day would be easier? Now, there's a question. Dave's not here. People want to know, and I'd like to know too, if on Labor Day, which is Monday, are we going to have the mastermind call? But Dave's not here. And maybe you could text him. The mastermind call or the Zoom at nighttime. I would think he'd probably do the Zoom at night, and I would think he'd probably do the mastermind, knowing Dave. I would bet my money on that. But just for argument's sake, I would say to somebody, if they say they can't do Thursday, I would say, which day would be better? Or even, well, I want to get people on tonight. So I would ask them if they can adjust their schedule to get on tonight. And then I don't like to chase people. So then I would say, well, which day would be better for you to adjust your schedules? Saturday morning or Monday? I'm giving them two choices. Pick one. If they can't do either one, then, and they might not see the value. But you have to decipher that depending on the reason why they're telling you they can't. If they're a brain surgeon and, they just can't, reschedule, then granted. And obviously I'm using an extreme scenario, but you get to make the point. So those are just some of the things. But tonight and right now, I would encourage everybody to make a decision, because it's always about making a decision. There's going to be some sacrifice. There's going to be some effort. Make a decision, put a number out there. How many people am I going to contact today? How soon am I going to do it? I like to work in 90-minute blitz where I'm not focusing on anything else. Momentum is extremely significant. You got all your energy and all your focus on contacting 20 or 30 people and texting them and extending the invitation, or asking them if they got 2 to 3 minutes to jump on the phone with them, and with you rather, and letting them hear your excitement. Stand up, right? Stand up and make sure you're smiling. That's what I suggest. That's what I learned. I won't talk to somebody sitting down. I'm not a corporate executive. I'm not sitting with my feet up. I'm up on my feet. I'm smiling. I'm pouring out energy, and it's fast. That first step about being in a hurry, success loves speed, right? Loves speed. And when I talk to people, Malcolm said something else too, and I'll wrap it up with this. But Malcolm said something, we know other people are in a rush. And people that have a whole lot of time, they're probably not going to be that proactive to do the business. Everybody's busy. We know that. That's the society that we live in. So, be respectful of that. I tell people, listen, I need 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm true to my word, 2 to 3 minutes. I let them know that I'm contacting 20 to 30 people today that I care about. Why? Because I absolutely believe in this information. I've seen so many lives be impacted. And I care about you. I would encourage you, can you adjust your schedule to pop on tonight? If not, okay, great. If I send you a 27-minute video, an overview, when could you watch it? Like that. That's how proactive, I am. I'm getting on the phone with somebody. I want to lead to the next call. I want to expose them to something, and I want to do my part, and those skills, those steps, are huge. I mean, you could, they're embedded into me. And I'm a student of Eric Worre, and I believe in the psychology and all of that stuff that he's crafted over the years. It's extremely valuable. And our intention is to get people in front of the information. What they ultimately decide to do, is up to them. But I will never stop following up with somebody unless they flat out tell me, listen, please do not, talk to me. And I think, let me close with this. My buddy Hector Gomez is on the Zoom. He told me, don't call me for any more network marketing companies. Don't call me anymore. I don't know how you do it, Willie. I can't deal with this, And when we found out about the Forever Pack, I said, Hector, I know you told me not to call you, man, but I just, if I truly care about you and I didn't call you, you know what I mean? Like, I have to call you. I have to encourage you to look at this information. And now he's, he's stoked. His family are getting great results. His business is moving. And, I'm glad I called him, and he's glad I called him. So even in that scenario, you still might want to follow up with somebody, because circumstances are changing every single day, health scenario and financial as well. So, Malcolm, amazing job.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Would you have believed before the pandemic that you could recruit? What are you up to? 15 doctors, 20 doctors? It's crazy,
Yeah,
right?
about 15, yeah.
Because they've all been impacted economically.
Yeah.
And so it's opened their mind to considering something that they normally would not consider, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys, you've just heard Willy's dialogue on the highest paying activity in network marketing, and that is promotion. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? What's P.T. Barnum famous for? Promotion. Promotion is the highest paying activity in our industry, and that's what Willy's doing all day long in 90-minute bursts.
Yeah.
So he's saying to people, I've got a private
Invitation only.
invitation only
Yeah.
Zoom by the world's top educator on telomeres. Have you heard of telomeres?
Right.
Okay. That's a brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. That's worth the price of admission. Just that alone. All right. You want to make money today, do that.
Yeah, and you got to say confidently, I absolutely believe that Dave is the world's top educator on telomere. Nobody, Bill Andrews himself said Dave took complicated information and made it simple. So, and he's he's acknowledged Dave for what he's done. And so Dave, really dove deep into this, and, he lives, breathes, all of that, about telomeres, about isogenesis, and he knows more than anybody else. And if anybody says, how do you know he's the world's, well, I don't know anybody that knows any more than he does, it's that, but nobody does that. Nobody questions it, but it's just that I have to convey that. Yeah.
I'm a personal friend of Bill Andrews.
Right.
I know how much he reveres Dave.
There you go.
Bill Andrews is a genius on par with the Wright brothers, Nikola Tesla, and Albert Einstein.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is a genius. And he's saying, because geniuses talk at a level that people can't understand.
Right.
So Bill Andrews needed Dave to simplify it down so you could explain it to an 8-year-old. Okay. That's the sweet spot in what we're doing. No, it's brilliant. When I first got in, Willy, I do events with Dave.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking at the crowd because they've heard him and they're taking it for granted,
Yeah.
And I wanted to bitch slap some people and say, don't take it for granted. Listen to this.
It's still recording.
I love that.
Pay attention. Can you repeat this? Can you teach? If Dave handed you the clicker and said, okay, do the rest of the presentation, could you do it? I can do that.
Right.
If Dave said, hey, Malcolm, I got to go to the bathroom, finish this off. No problem. I know his slides. I can lip sync them. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's good to be reminded of that. Sometimes things just tend to get a little stale for, we have the law of familiarity. We just kind of get used to hearing Dave and, it's Dave, whatever, but, you keep inviting people, Yes. And sometimes, Dave loves, mastering the mundane, and it does seem like that sometimes. But then when you get, people that, like, I have a friend of mine that now is coming on board, and I know this guy for 15 years. He's amazing in network marketing, amazing. Really good-hearted guy, him and his wife. He's known for like educating, the teams, kind of has like similar mannerisms like Dave, really cool, trustworthy, you know that the guy is, you know, just a straight shooter right from the heart. And so Digna and I, he actually wound up reaching out to us. He saw we were doing something, and I was glad to hear from him. And I told him, you know, you just got to try these products. You know, whatever you decide to do as far as business is concerned, you know, that's on the back burner, but you got to try these products. And after like 3 weeks, he called me and he said, I thought I would never be able to jog again. And the Forever Pack has me on the pavements every single morning. What the heck is in this stuff? You know, like he was blown away. So he's like, you don't have to convince me of the products, you know. And then I got him on the phone with Dave, and they met. And now he's just like, I got my list. Let's go. You know, so I'm just, you know, and not every week is like that, you know, but you got to keep contacting. And then when you make that, you know, you meet that person, and it's not just about the business, it's about the impact in people's lives. And then you hear these testimonies over and over and over again. You're like, yes, you know, but, you know, we got to stick in there. You know, we got to stick in there. And I think now more than ever is possibly the most important time. September is a hot month for those that don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
September is a hot month.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I put 5 people in.
Yeah.
Just a month.
Yeah.
You know, just right now. You know, I mean, it's hot. September's hotter than a pistol, guys.
Yeah.
If you ever work, September's the month to do it.
Yeah. You know, on that note, Malcolm, because September, it's all about the psychology, you know, and so people are coming out of summer mode, which is bizarre, but still people are still in summer mode, regardless of all the circumstances we face collectively. People still, you know, that's just how we're programmed. And I, you know, obviously there's some need for that, but we go into summer mode, and then, you know, now the kids are going back to school, whether they're, you know, studying from online or at schools or whatever the case may be. And so, but the kids are preoccupied. They probably spent more money than they should have over the summer, right? Because people feel like they deserve it. We're entitled to it. Well, all this stress, of course, we got to find a way to spend some money so we can feel better. So people spent more money than they should have, right? And the kids are back to school. They're preoccupied. The parents have a little more free time, right? And they know that the holidays are around the corner. September, historically speaking, is a big month. People's minds are a little more open. Plus they were eating unhealthy over the summer, you know, and bogged down, you know, with this social distancing, you know. So, but we went well over. This was an extended, advanced edition to today's training. So, Malcolm, thank you, man. And listen, and listen, everybody, please, you know, try to. If you have a guest, like Malcolm said, if you have a guest that says, yes, I'm definitely getting on the Zoom tonight, you know, you want to see, you know, 20, 30 people on. You want to see a decent group. I mean, we're talking about the world's top educator. You know, you don't want to see 10 people on there, right? Even though saying that it's private and invitation only gives you a buffer. I also do that because it gives you a buffer, right? So, but it would just be so awesome. So when we have guests and we get on and other people there, we're like, awesome, because the social proof is there for our guests. But there'll be times when we don't have guests. But that's when the presentation needs your presence more. So when you have a guest, you need other people's presence. When you don't have a guest, they need your presence, you know, and teamwork makes the dream work, you know. So just remember that and chime in. And even if you're not listening completely, but maybe, you know, you got the one headphone on or it's listening in the background, but at least you're there and other people's guests can see that other people are there. And it just provides social proof, you know, that we call that the campfire, you know, come hang out at the campfire tonight. So that's it, Malcolm. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will see you guys tonight. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you, Malcolm.
You're welcome.
Good night, guys. Thank you. Goodbye. Not good night.
Not good night. Let's pack it
Thanks,
out.
Malcolm. Thanks, leaders. Thank you.
Oh, we're just getting
Yes,
just
ma'am.
getting started.
Yes, ma'am. I agree to that.